What's good, Wizards fans? It's your host, the real Ed Oliver, and Brandon Scott. The Wizards finally get to see a pool party. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's good, Wizards fans? It's your host, the real Ed Oliver, and Brandon Scott. We want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started. All right, so Jordan Poole finally, I'm not going to say finally, he's had a couple good games before, but this really felt like his breakout game. This felt like the first game where we saw what we've been waiting for, man, for the guy to, ascend and play like he did in Golden State.
Oh, yeah.
And put up a 30-point game and just ball out and play like that and have a pool party. We just haven't seen it much here so far. So, Brandon, what are your thoughts? We're gonna recap the Thunder game first and then get into the Cavs game, because there was another game over the weekend. But what was your thoughts quickly on the Thunder game, and then we'll go over the Cavs game.
Got you. Looking at the Thunder game, man, Friday night, losing 147 to 106 and OKC. The big thing, I guess you want to pinpoint a reason we lost. I mean, we got rebounded by 10, 60 to 50, but defense was the name of the game for the Wizards. I mean, we gave it, let's see, OKC shot almost 60% overall and 50% from three. So, I mean, defense stayed in the locker room. But looking at the individual performance, we're going to start with Bagley. Obviously, 15 points, 14 rebounds. Bagley looked really, really good. He looked really good in OKC. Kuzma, efficiency-wise, shot 50%, but only 14 points. We're used to him being that 20-plus score. Kind of a slower game for him, but 14 points, 4 boards. Bilal Coulibaly looked decent. I mean, 11 points, 5 rebounds, shot 4 for 10 for the field, 2 for 5 from 3, but he's definitely becoming less hesitant to take those jumpers. Shamet, very slow night. 18 minutes, but only 3 rebounds. No points, shooting 0 for 2 from the field overall. And Tyus Jones, 5 points, 6 assists. So kind of a slow game for him, too, because only 6 assists and only shooting 2 for 8 from the field. So a very underwhelming game for the starting 5. But looking at the bench, this is where the magic happened, right? Corey Kispert, 20 points, shooting 6 for 12, 3 for 7 from 3. And Jordan Poole. Now, I get it. 21 points. Efficiency did take a hit, shooting 7 for 19, 2 for 8 from 3-point range. But I'll say this. He was aggressive, and I like what I see coming off the bench. 21 points. Obviously, you want to see him take more, high percentage shots, and then you really working on that efficiency. But overall, I like what I saw. So, looking at the Thunder game, it was a bloody. I mean, defense stayed in the locker room. It was just an ugly game on the defensive side. But offensively, Kispert continue. We say a lot about Denny taking that step and having that breakout campaign. But I've been saying lately, man, Kispert is definitely. I think he's breaking out too, because you really see what he can really do. He's that guy who provides great energy, great points off the bench. I mean, 20 points, shooting 6 for 12. So efficiency has not been his problem, man. He's definitely efficient, 7 for 3. So Jordan Poole, again, him and Kispert, big reason why they stayed in this game. I'm not going to say stay in this game because it's 145 points. But, I mean, they were the ones who shined. I mean, if anybody shines in this game, because like I said, this was a hard game. I mean, you're going against a really good team in the OKC Thunder, man, and Oklahoma City. And, I mean, SGA, man, there's a reason why his name is in the MVP talks, because he is definitely on a whole new gear this season, man. So he's definitely a guy that I'm looking for. And he's definitely a guy I like watching, man. SGA can just – I mean, he is just a monster, man, because, I mean, if you look at their stat line, I mean, SGA 30 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists. 9 for 9 from the charity strike, so he definitely got to the paint, or not the paint, to the free throw line. So, I mean, there's talent gap. I mean, the defense stayed in the locker room, and they're a contender in the Western Conference for a reason. So,
yeah, I mean, you basically summed it up there. I don't have much to say about the Thunder game. I guess we'll talk more about the Cavs game, which is more of a high note. But yeah, losing 106 to 147. Danny did not play. They couldn't get stops defensively, obviously, giving up 147 points. In the game, the Thunder shot 20 for 40 from the 3-point line, 50%, 81% from the free throw line, 30 assists. Shea got 30. Chet Holmgren was able to do whatever he felt like doing. They weren't able to get any stops at all. They gave up 58 points in the paint. We scored 58, which is about the same, but we never had a lead. We had a 3-point lead at one point, and the Thunder's largest lead was 46, which is basically what it was, 106-46. I mean, yeah, I mean they're a legitimate contender. The Thunder are playing really good basketball right now, 39-17. They had some really good wins under their belt. Chet Holmgren, their team has just really developed really nicely over the past couple of years, and they're basically what we want to model our team after. You know, you look at Will Dawkins and Michael Winger coming from that Thunder tree. I mean, we're just looking at what we want to do in the next couple of years. So, they basically taught the Wizards a lesson basically all night with a nasty blowout. But let's start off with the Cavs here. Jordan Poole, pool party, has a great game. Took the lead, had 10 straight points, hit 2 threes, shot a 3 from the logo, which was still a questionable shot. But I mean, when he's feeling it and he's hot, it's like we're fine with those shots. But you know, in the games where he's 1 for 12 and he's shooting these deep threes and 20 seconds left on the shot clock, it's like, no, don't shoot it. But when he's hot like that, he's in a rhythm, he's playing good ball. So I have no problem with it. I'm just happy to see him coming off the bench and playing well and playing with confidence. I think for the rest of the year, he should come off the bench. I think even next year when he's on the roster, he should still come off the bench because I think it's just a confidence thing for him. It's just a comfortable thing for him. Him being on ball, having the ball more. You know, he's still playing with Tyus here and there, staggering their minutes and whatnot. But when he's on the ball, bringing the ball up, kind of orchestrating, he's able to freelance. He's able to do more isolation. He's just able to be himself more coming off the bench, and he just looks more comfortable out there. Of course, no Denny out there. Corey didn't play. Blau got injured in the first couple minutes of the game. So many guys out. He just had to step up and take over. We're not in this game without him. You know, he kept us in the game, and he really gave us a good chance to win this ball game. So I was happy for him. And defensively, he played hard too. Ended up fouling out in the game. So you see his effort when he plays offense well. That's when he plays better defensively. Which, of course, we want to see him play defense well in general, not just because he's having a good offense night, even though he's not known as a defensive player, but that's just not his forte at all. But, I mean, he's the big story of the game. You know, him getting the crowd hyped after we hear the boos, him being booed so much, and the F Jordan Poole chants and whatnot. So it's good to see him get the crowd hype and get the crowd involved. Awesome game for him. Sidestep threes, getting to the basket. I mean, that's the Jordan Poole that we traded for. That's what we traded for. And maybe he is a keeper. We'll see. You know, I mean, if he plays like this, maybe as a keeper, but, you know, we'll see. You know, later down the line, we'll worry about trading him or whatever they decide to do in the future. But now that looks like a guy that, you know, looks like he wants to play, he wants to be here, is motivated. And that's just what we weren't seeing the last couple of games. And the last time he played the Cavs, he had 0 points. So for him to go from 0 points to 31 against a good defensive team with Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, those guys, it was great to see that. So overall, just from the roster standpoint, the reason why they lost the game is the pick and roll defense was awful. They couldn't stop Jared Allen and Evan Mobley in the paint at times. Donovan and Darius Garland, they gave up 2 big threes to him back to back. That was huge. Down the stretch, it was kind of stagnant. Kuz couldn't hit shots down the stretch. He had a good game, but down the stretch of that fourth quarter, he struggled. Just the whole team struggled as a whole. The defensive backcourt with Tyus and Jordan Poole is just not a good defensive backcourt. We already know that during the whole season. So definitely they had a lot of chances to win the game. Bagley played well. I thought he gave effort defensively. Did a good job rebounding. Rashawn Holmes, I like what I saw from him. Had an alley-oop dunk. Got to the free throw line a couple times. Shamet was a little erratic up and down. Johnny Davis, I guess we'll talk about him later. Just another disappointing performance from him. 5 fouls. It's just you got to be smarter than that. But like I said, I'm still not giving up on the young man, but he's just got to be smarter than that. And I think overall they play with effort and were competitive throughout the game, but down the stretch, they got to get back on defense, and just those threes that they were giving up down the stretch to really hurt them. And then the beginning of the game, the pick and roll defense was terrible, allowing Evan Mobley and Jared Allen to put up big numbers against them. Jared Allen had a double-double in the third quarter, an easy double-double, and then Evan Mobley was able to score pretty easily as well. They kept Donovan Mitchell in check for the most part. Donovan Mitchell, he didn't really need to do much. Because with Mobley and Jared Allen putting up 22, Garland 17, it's kind of like he just kind of fell in line there. Karis LeVert had a really good game tonight too. But yeah, I mean, I love the effort from the team. I mean, guys stepped up. Jordan Poole stepped up. Rashawn Holmes had a good game. Shamet with 15, Kuzma with 27, and Bagley with 9 and 9. So Tyus offensively didn't give much. Only shot the ball 4 times, 10 assists. But yeah, I mean, I love the effort from Jordan Poole tonight.
Look, man, I mean, this is the Jordan Poole we thought we were getting from Golden State in that trade. I mean, this is the guy we were looking for. This is the guy that, look, I had high regards for Jordan Poole coming over, man, because of this performance right here. This is my expectation. This is what he's capable of doing. And that's why, it's very unfortunate to see him starting slow and having all these issues, fighting on the court and immaturity stuff. Because, man, when he's locked in, when the confidence is high, you see what he can do. He can play at an all-star level. So the big thing now is, like, I'm proud of what I saw tonight, man. He was electrifying. I mean, he played a daggone pretty good game. I mean, come off the bench. I mean, look, 37 minutes. So he still put starter numbers, but he was that guy that we need off the bench. 31 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 11 for 21. He was efficient, 6 for 13 from 3. I mean, other than the fouls, I have nothing negative to say about his performance. I mean, hyping up the crowd. I mean, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for right here. If he can do this on a consistent basis, we have definitely found a diamond in the rough. And we found a guy that could be a cornerstone. And if you add that to the young core and Denny, Bilal, and Kispert, we're cooking. I mean, the biggest thing for me with JP13, man, is consistency. Definitely being locked in mentally and physically. But you see what he's capable of doing. So, I mean, look, we were very tough on him for valid reason. But here's the thing: I'm a big believer. I'm telling you, if he locks in and he's that consistent 20 plus every night guy, man, we could find a guy that we can build around. But I'm not saying the guy yet, but I'm saying he's definitely part of the equation as far as what we had to build upon in this rebuild. So, look, I'm proud of him, man. I mean, this is definitely what we've been looking for. This is the guy that Kevin Garnett, his first comment, this is the guy he was talking about, man. Not the second comment, but the first one. So I love what I see from, man. JP, he looked good tonight. And, like I said, gave him a lot of smoky, but we want him to succeed here in DC. That's the biggest thing, man. We want to see him succeed. I mean, if you look at the team overall real quick, I mean, he was a star of the show. I mean, Kyle Kuzma, 27 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, shot 10 for 24. So we know, Kuzma was the scorer, that 20-plus scorer that we need every night. He did his thing as being a scoring guy. Look, I was one of those guys that thought that maybe Kispert, before that, he was scratched because of non-COVID illness. He should have started. And he was a little low on Shaman because, going a donut hole for points, but he responded too. I mean, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 6 for 15, 3 afraid from 3. So, I mean, overall, yeah, and I'm with you real quick. I mean, in 14 minutes, Rashawn Holmes looked really good, 11 points, and I believe 7 rebounds. Yep. So, I mean, we played them tough. This is the type of performances you want from the team. They played a team in Cleveland, which they're in the mix in the Eastern Conference right now. So they're not a scrub team. They're a team that definitely challenging the Eastern Conference. And like you said, they kept Mitchell in check, but I felt like they fought hard. So, look, Jordan Poole, that goes off to you. Now let's see some consistency. That's where I'm at.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Jordan Poole, like you said, the whole Kevin Garnett thing. It's good to see him on Hoop Central tonight on Twitter instead of Hater Central, and all the people on social media that just do their best. And Jordan Poole, that first game, I guess, was it the Nuggets or the Thunder game where he did the inbounds pass where he threw it to himself or something like that? He did a Shaq and a fool. So it was a struggle. The first game he came off the bench, he played poorly. So it's not just – I'm not going to say it's just because he's coming off the bench. He's more locked in, he's more focused. So it took him a little bit of time. You could tell he was frustrated. He wasn't happy about it. The post-game presser, you could tell he wasn't happy with some of his answers. But I think he's just humbled himself a little bit. And he realized, like, hey, his career, I'm not going to say his career is on the line, but if he keeps it up playing like this, 1 for 12, 0 points, 6 fouls and whatnot, it's like no team's going to want you at all. So it's like he had to look himself in the mirror, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later. But yeah, he's looking himself in the mirror, had a reality check, and he's making the best of the situation. And it's not to look at the benching as a demotion, but as an ascension or something like that. I think Chris Miller said something like that when I was listening to the show. But it's not don't look at it as a demotion, but look at it as somewhat of a promotion to where he can handle the ball, and it's his show with the second unit. So we're gonna get to a quick break here. Today's episode is brought to you by Grammarly. Shout out to Grammarly. No matter what kind of work you do, how you communicate is key. All those emails, reports, and presentations are equally important to the collaboration needed to get things done, and Grammarly can help. Grammarly is your AI writing partner to help you communicate more effectively and efficiently so you can make a bigger impact at work. I use Grammarly all the time when I'm writing. When I was in school, when I would write papers, I use Grammarly to check my work. When I write emails, I use Grammarly all the time just to spell check and write and make sure there's no grammatical errors at all when I'm sending an email. 96% of Grammarly users report that Grammarly helps them craft more impactful writing. Grammarly works across 500,000 apps and websites. By understanding your writing and context, Grammarly provides relevant, personalized suggestions. Their tone suggestions help you navigate even the most difficult work conversations as well. Grammarly is the gold standard of responsible AI with 14 years of experience in just about every IT certification under the sun. Grammarly is a secure AI writing partner that helps your team make their point and move faster. Make a bigger impact at work with Grammarly. Sign up and download it for free at Grammarly.com/podcast. That's GRAMMARLY.com/podcast. Easier said, done. And one last thing I'll say about the game, too. I do see some people complain about Brian Keefe, kind of giving him a hard time about this game. This is probably the first time he's really given a hard time. Another blowout is unacceptable against the Thunder, against the Nuggets as well. I mean, both those teams are just clearly better than contenders, the championship contenders at this point. So, of course, we knew we were going to lose those games. But I guess this time, you look at the adjustments the Cavs took. They took a timeout. They went on an 11-1 run. He put Tyus back in the game. Yeah. So I do see some people complaining that, he played Tyus and Jordan Poole down the stretch again. Jared Butler had some good moments too. Didn't put up a lot of points. He had 2 points, 2 assists. He did have the nice alley-oop to Rashawn Holmes, but maybe they could have tried a bigger lineup down the stretch defensively. They just struggled to get stops towards the end of the game. So maybe that's one critique for Brian Keefe, but I know he's going with the guy that that they've started the whole season in Tyus Jones. So maybe they do need to make those adjustments and try different lineups out towards the end of the game. So we'll see. Brian Keefe is still kind of a learning process for him going down the stretch just to try out different lineups and different stuff like that. Maybe they could have tried a bigger lineup out there to get some stops, but we'll see how that goes. And Eugene did not play at all tonight. He was a DFP.
Yeah, I mean, looking at both games over the weekend, man. I mean, one game was not very competitive at all, and the second one against Cleveland was definitely competitive. But really, the Thunder game was probably the worst game we've had after the trade deadline, after the All-Star break, because most of the games have been pretty competitive. So I'm gonna kind of say it's an off night. I mean, we're 9-48, so we've had a lot more off nights than we've had. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I like to fight. Obviously, Brian Keefe is definitely learning being an interim head coach. But overall, I've liked what I've seen from the guys, how they respond to him being an interim head coach. He's definitely getting the best out, man, because like I said, they fought every game. So I guess it kind of leads to a question, E. Looking at, Jordan Poole, I guess my question is, because I know that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up. I know that Stephen A. actually had a comment where, let's go ahead and read it. If you got to go ahead and read it, man. I know Stephen A., he has something to say about.
He said, he talked about Jordan Poole with him being benched. He said that Jordan Poole needs to adjust his behavior. He said, you got an abundance of people who want him to fail. Talking about people in D.C. He's all alone on the basketball court. They don't care for him.
I mean, my question for you is, oh, Lord have mercy. I guess the question for you is, for him to turn that corner, does he need somebody to help him, whether it's a coach or is it up to him? $25 million a year, does he need somebody to help him, or do you think that this is something that he's going to have to conquer, whether it's a physical or mental barrier? What do you think?
Yeah, it could be a combination, but it's definitely him. Like I was saying, he had to look in the mirror and humble himself, come off the bench and lock in and just take advantage and just look at it. Don't look at it as, I'm being benched, like, he's being punished or it's because he's terrible or whatever, even though some of it was because of that. But just look at it as like, hey, look, I'm out here with, guys that need me to score. I'm gonna be on the floor with Rashawn Holmes and Pat Baldwin Jr. and Jared Butler and Johnny and Corey. Corey's been scoring, but he's still a guy that kind of he needs somebody to set him up screens, pass him the ball. And Jordan Poole is gonna be the only one on the court with those guys of that 5-man bench lineup or staggered lineups that can create a shot for themselves. And with that opportunity, it's like, hey, he's got he has the greenest of green lights. He had that before anyway, but now coming off the bench against second units, kind of against lesser competition, against lesser defenses, he can get warmed up more and get more. Once he gets more confident, he can be like a microwave scorer. Like tonight, he was a microwave scorer. He can score in bunches, like he did with the Warriors. Just coming off the bench for Steph and Clay and just coming in and just cooking. And that's what he did tonight, coming off the bench for the Wizards. So, but yeah, if it is toxic like that, Stephen A, we know a lot of people don't trust his word and a lot of the things he said and a lot of things he says. But it's like, where is he getting this information from?
Yeah,
and
right.
it could be true. I mean, it could be true. I'm not going to discount what he said. Maybe some people just don't care for him. Kyle Kuzma yelling at him not too long ago. He's not the first guy to do that. DeLong Wright, he's not the only one to do that. So guys must have been fed up with his attitude and the way he was acting, and some of the shots he's been taking is certainly frustrating. I know Kuz is not innocent either, but yeah, it's like, you come to a different team and these guys, they're probably fed up with it. They're probably fed up with the way he was acting, the way he was shooting. The fans were too. I mean, booing him and chanting F Jordan Poole. So if the fans are doing it, then imagine guys who have to be with him every day in the locker room. They're probably fed up as well. But you look at the bench, they were excited to see him score. Guys are jumping up and down. Crowd was going crazy. Guys look genuinely happy for him. So I'm not going to take Stephen A's word for it 100%, but he's hearing it from somewhere, and it looks like there probably is a little bit of truth to it. So, but at the end of the day, it's on him. We talked about the sports psychologist. I know you did. I know you said some medicinal help, but I don't know if that will help it, if that will happen. But whatever he did with this benching, he's playing better, and he plays the Warriors. We play the Warriors next, so that will be fun for him to play well. I think he's going to be even more motivated to play well against those guys, of course. So yeah, I'm happy to see him lock in and be focused, and he hit some tough shots tonight. 11 for 21, 6 for 13 from the field. I want to see how many times he got to the free throw line tonight too, because I know he's really good at that. I want to see him do that more. Only 3 free throws, but I'm not gonna critique him for that. But yeah, I love the way he's playing right now. He hit some tough shots. Not every night are those logo shots gonna hit from deep like that, but I just want to see him playing with confidence. Some other nights he just has played with zero confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I said from day one, man, that I was a believer in Jordan Poole, man. But I mean, here's the thing: take responsibility. I mean, that's my biggest thing. I mean, everything he's done on the court that he's being criticized for, he did of his own accord. So I mean, this whole nobody believes in him. There's 25 million reasons why he should believe in himself. I mean, come on now. I mean, that's my biggest pet peeve about this whole situation is I get it, man. I was one of his biggest advocates. Look, I get it. He's a young player. He hasn't hit his prime yet. He's talented. He could be an all-star if he locks in. I still stand by that. But I mean, all the shenanigans, man, he did that. Nobody else did that. Nobody forced him to. He did that. The bad attitude, the bad body language. He did that. Nobody forced him to do that. And it really bothers, especially Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is always that guy that tries to throw smoke at people. And then he's the first guy to say, oh, nobody's helping him. Like, what are you talking about, man? I mean, you make $25 million. Go. I mean, that's all the help I need, brother. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's definitely mental. I get it coming over from Golden State, you being booed, all these different factors. I get the psychology part of it. I get it. He's a young man. I get that. But at the end of the day, you have to perform. And he has not been performing to the level that we believe he can perform. And it's not just throwing smoke at him just to throw smoke at him. It's being 100%. Last year, we threw more smoke on Bradley Beal than anybody else on this roster. And for good reason. We didn't criticize anything off the court. We didn't criticize what he did on the weekends. We criticized the production on the court, which has stunk. I mean, so it's good to see him take that step. And I'm glad he's taking a step and he can lock in and be that player that we both think that he can be. I'm all for it, man. But what gets me is this whole, oh, man, don't be too hard on the guy. Why? I mean, what are you talking about, man? If I work for the post office and the mail's all jacked up, who are you going to blame? Ghostbusters? I mean, no, come on, man. You're going to blame the post guy. So, I mean, I don't understand the whole concept. Oh, don't be too hard on him, man. Look, you can pay me $25 million. You can yell at me all you want. I'm just saying, like, he is a talented young player, and I think he can still figure it out. But stop making excuses for the guy. Look, you're the guy now. You and Kyle Kuzma are the guys now. Be the guy. And that's where I kind of stand with it. E. I still believe in what he's trying to do, and I hope he can still be that guy. But this whole, Stephen, he's got no help. Get out of here, man. I mean, it does not benefit his organization to not help the guy. I don't buy that nobody's helping him. Come on, man, get out of here. They did everything that he wanted coming into DC. They did everything they could to make him comfortable. I mean, at the end of the day, he's gonna have to look himself in the mirror and say, look, I've got to change things. Because look, they benched him, and what did he do? He complained. No, it's not what they're trying to see from you. Humble yourself, because if you were playing the way you should have been playing, would he have gotten benched? No, that we weren't even having this conversation. So it bothers me when I hear that, man. Like, oh, she doesn't have the support. I don't want to hear that, man. This organization has done everything they could to make him feel comfortable coming to DC, man. I mean, when he first got traded, they did all these little videos on the YouTube side with him hanging out with Kyle Kuzma, him giggling and all this and taking pictures. No, man, they're not going to do that if they don't believe in you. Stop it. I mean, somebody has to take responsibility. And that's I'm gonna get off my soapbox, y'all. I'm gonna step off, man. But that's where I stand. I believe in him. I want him to succeed, but man up and take responsibility. You dictate how you play. Nobody else does. You're the guy who dictates. Play. Lock in and play and be that player that we know you can be. But when you start blaming other people, you're the one to put the shoes on the plays. We just watch. That's all I'm going to say. So, I guess we can. You got anything else you want to talk about before we move on to comments?
Yeah, and the whole thing about wanting to see him fail. Yeah, I don't know who he was talking about. Of course, for Will Dawkins and Brian Keefe, the coaching staff, it would be the worst case scenario if he fails.
Yeah.
Because you traded for that contract. Bobby Marks said now it's the worst contract in the NBA. But of course you want to see him succeed. You want to see all your players succeed, and even down the line, like trading him, there was reports saying that they look at him as a guy that they're looking to trade in the future instead of being a long-term asset. There's no value there if he fails. So that would be the worst case scenario. So I don't know where Stephen A is hearing this from. So. But it is what it is on that. But yeah, like Jordan Poole, he has to look himself in the mirror. So it's really 90% him and then 10% the front office and coaching staff. Because there were times where he was playing a point guard, but he was just terrible. He was playing bad basketball. It didn't matter whether he was on ball, off ball, whatever. Because a lot of people are like, oh, he's better on ball. But even on ball, he was playing awful. The shots were terrible. He's, not focused, acting a fool, not looking at the clipboard, not paying attention to coaches, getting his shot blocked by Porzingis, just being, lackadaisical. So tonight he looked locked on both ends and played with 100% effort. That's what I want to see that when the shots are not falling too. I want to see him play that hard when he's not hitting back-to-back threes and has 10 points in a span of 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm proud of him. I want to see more. Because I still believe he could be that guy. Just take responsibility. Take responsibility, man. Your struggles were of your own accord. It's nobody else's fault. And like I said, he's a young player. I definitely think that, help wise, get an older head in there, talk to him. That's the kind of support I can see. Get an old head in there. There's former players around there all the time. Antoine Jameson, I don't know if he still works for the organization, but he's always been around there. I mean, get somebody to talk to him, man. I mean, because he's a young man, but that's where I'm at, man. Take responsibility because the struggles have been on your own. You're getting swatted by KP. Nobody told you to do all that, So that's where I'm at. I hope that he can figure it out because he's a stud. And so I definitely think that if he locks in, he could be that guy. So we're going to step right into comments. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by Stitch Fit. That instant confidence boost you get from an outfit that makes you look real good, right? That's what I get from Stitch Fit. Easily upgrade your wardrobe this year with a professional stylist that helps you find new on-trend favorites that will work for you. My stylist always sends just the right pieces, and the fit is on point. I'm trying to tell you, it's like they have style ESP. I don't know how they do it, but they just get me. I'm trying to tell you. And if you don't love something, just send it back. Shipping, returns, and exchanges are always free, which is key. So style makes you feel as good as you look. Get started today at stitchfit.com/locked-on. That's stitchfit.com/locked-on. stitchfit.com/locked-on. All right, Stitch Fit, y'all. Let's get into comments.
Yes, sir. Let's see here. A lot of comments tonight. So yeah, I guess we'll start with Johnny tonight. Vax says Johnny Davis scored. I repeat, Johnny Davis scored. Let's see here. Somebody else said something about Johnny Davis as well. Edian. I guess we'll just focus on the Johnny Davis comments real quick.
Gotcha.
Edian says, I don't think Johnny Davis is cut out for the NBA. I think there's another one in here about Johnny Davis, but I can't find it right now. But basically, JD. Okay, yeah, no, this is Vax again. He says JD got his chance, and he got to start at the beginning of the third quarter. He wasted everything he needs to perform, but I don't think that can happen because his confidence is broken. So, what I'll say about Johnny is it was disappointing with him getting 5 fouls. He fouled Max Strus very, very quickly in the third quarter, which was unnecessary. Then he fouled Donovan Mitchell again, which was kind of unnecessary. But Donovan Mitchell's a heck of a player. And you just got to sit with 5 fouls, man. You got an opportunity with Denny out, Blau out. I feel like there was somebody. Kispert was out. I mean, so many guys out to the point where he just has to play, and they're trying to play him. And you can't keep your hands on people and not foul. And he hit a jumper. I like the move that he made to the middle of the court. He turned around, fadeaway free throw jumper. It was kind of like what he did at Wisconsin. So I was excited about that. He made his first shot, and it just didn't really build on it. So I'm not giving up on the young guy. Yes, his confidence is broken for sure. It's shot. The jumper is funky. It looks like I don't know what happened with the jumper and the developmental coaching staff and the coaching staff here from last year and this year. They've been trying to fix it, but it's still funky. So it's just not looking good for Johnny, man. I'm a fan of his game. Really want to see him succeed, but I just think that it's an uphill battle just to say it nicely, man. I just don't know. And I think this regime, I don't think they're high on him. I don't think this front office is very high on him because they barely wanted to play him before the All-Star break. He was getting a lot of DNPs, even when guys were out. So, it's hard to see a bright future for Johnny at this point. But like I said, I still want to see more in the last 25 games.
Yeah, Johnny Davis. I mean, I'm not giving up, but I am to the point where I'm going to call it's a mispick. I mean, 10th overall pick, and he is barely scratching the surface. Is a mispick. And I'm not saying it's on Johnny. I mean, you can kind of look at the previous GM, Tommy Shepard, whoever was trying to change him into a point guard, whoever changed the shot. I mean, because it's not the same shot as he had in Wisconsin. So, I mean, it's tough to really pinpoint who to blame, but it's definitely something to blame. But it's to the point where he is what he is, man. And, I mean, all you can do at this point is, see what he can do in Summer League. I mean, and that's really a question. I don't know if you know, E. I mean, can he be in Summer League third year? Or was it the first 2 years? I mean, because usually it's your first 2 years. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I've seen guys do Summer League in their third year. It's not a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's not a good thing. But he might have to. I mean, he probably will. I probably put him in the G League. I mean, in the Summer League again.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you can do. I mean, keep working with him, man. But I mean, his confidence is shot. His value is at zero, and the only thing you can do is work with him. And so I'm holding out hope that he can fit out, man. Just like Jordan Poole, just like Denny, just like Blau, I just like Corey Kispert. I want to see these young men prosper, man. But put the work in. I mean, when you get the opportunity, you got to take advantage of the opportunity. He's been looking pretty bad on the court, man. And it's just, when with this new regime, when did you get to the point where they quit? So, I mean, let's just hold out hope. But right now, it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good right now for Johnny Davis, man. Let's see, we got a couple of shout outs tonight. Rum Cataluccio. Oh Lord, I butchered it. My bad. Miss you guys, Brandon Scott and Ed Oliver. Appreciate you. 50% Pain said, when you put Ed and Brandon's initials together, you get EB. That's the only EB I wouldn't watch it. That's funny. Yeah, man. Let's see. Few people, man. We always address everybody. Chris, let's see. This is Our Future. We're doomed. It says, you'd have bad body language if your teammates were complaining when you had 41 points too. 41, Lord. But when Denny got 43, Poole kept feeding, pay attention, Lord. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm just gonna say this. The guy struggles over his own, man. Like, we're not saying anything that is not related to the basketball court, like bad body language. You're a professional. If a cashier could get yelled at in a grocery store and still hold a poker face, he can't with $25 million a year. Like, what are we talking about, man? Like, I mean, come on now. The bad body language is on him. So I don't understand. Maybe you can respond. I don't know you because I don't understand how the blame goes to anybody else for his bad body language, man. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. I'm not condoning him having bad body language at all. I mean, he just wasn't playing well. So the body language aside, he just wasn't playing good basketball. He had a game where he had 0 points and 6 fouls. He fouled out. 0 points against the Cavaliers, and just the turnovers, the bad defense, shot selection, taking deep threes with 15 seconds left on the shot clock. So there was a lot of things that he just wasn't doing well. yeah, I mean, when Denny had 43, yeah, Jordan Poole was definitely cheering for him, rooting for him, being a good teammate. So yeah, I mean, that was fine for sure. Denny, when Jordan Poole did have 41, he was complaining about not getting the ball in that one play. That wasn't a preseason. So I do remember what you're talking. Of course, everyone knows what you're talking about. But yeah, Jordan Poole, he just wasn't playing good basketball. He wasn't. And so I'm not condoning any bad body language from Jordan Poole at all for that. But I love what I saw from him tonight. His body language certainly was better tonight. I think it was better last game too. Honestly, I think he's starting to turn a corner here. I don't want to see him keep it up, but yeah, he's definitely got to lock in and mature. I think maturity was a big thing here that he's been struggling with. Just being in a different role, being asked to be a leader, being asked to be a starter full time. Those are some of the things he didn't have to do in Golden State. And he was, he's a veteran on this team where Golden State, he always had Steph, Clay, and some other guys ahead of him. But now he had to step up and be more of a vocal leader. And he's still kind of learning how to do that. And it's tough. It's been a tough adjustment for him so far. But, him coming off the bench, I think he can focus more on his game and what he does best and go against second unit. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. I will say this before we roll, man. I want him to shut me up. Like tonight, I was proud because look, he got behind the crowd, got behind him. I like that dog mentality, man. I want him to respond, man. I was just about to bring that up. I guess we'll roll on here, man.
I guess we're wrapping up on that.
Right. Shook Biz said, going to the go-go. That's cold, man. Shook Biz once said, I want to take this time to mention it's been 30 minutes with 0 coughs, turnovers for Ed. Hey, man, I'm saying. Most improved golfer, man.
Thank you, Shugs. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
It's been a long time coming.
So I guess
we'll wrap it up here. We'll do the show tomorrow night. We're going to preview the Warriors game. All the comments that we did not get a chance to get to, we'll get to those. And after the Warriors game, it's a West Coast road trip.
Oh, yeah. 10:30, a couple of them.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I know you.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to Crystal Scott as well. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit the notification bell as well. Hell to the Wizards. Peace.